So you want to learn how to play the Jazz comp and reroll Bard and MF to the top of the ladder? At the moment, this is one of the best comps in the game, and it is also the most played comp in the higher ranks, and that is for a good reason. Today I'll cover everything you need to know to climb the ladder with this broken comp. And the full comp looked like this. We have Lilia, Nico and Echo in the front line, and just behind we have Kennen. Echo gives himself a shield and stuns everyone around him. And the important part about Nico is that she shields herself, and the main thing about Lilia is she healing herself but also an ally close to her. Kennen's ability is that he is stunning 2 random units in his range, and that is why he is just behind the other units, to give him a chance to cast more spells. Bard and MF will sit in the corners since they are the carries. When MF casts, she shoots a bullet that bounces onto the closest unit behind her, and if she kills one of the units, she will gain 40% attack speed for 4 seconds. Bard's ability is to cast 4 times, with a random combined of 2 different abilities. One of them does AP damage to his target, and the other one is that he's healing the lowest health ally. There is also a third option where he's gaining 1 gold, and then he's casting one of the 2 other mentioned spells. So you never really know what Bard is going to do, if he's healing your unit 4 times, dealing damage 4 times, or doing a bit of both. Kai'Sa is mainly just a trade bot for us, but she does shoot a missile at her target and dash at the same time. When Lucian casts, he's trying to hit the units that's farthest away, but the shots will hit the first unit he hit, and they will start stacking minus armor for the rest of the game. But he is also a unit that we first get it in very late game, so let's just take him out for now. By only playing 7 units, we are already getting 7 traits. And that is just perfect when you're playing a trait like Jazz. Because Jazz gives us more health and more damage for each active trait, except the unique ones. But other than Jazz, we do also have KDA that lights up some hexes. And if your unit stands on these hexes, they will gain more health and more damage. And if the unit is a KDA itself, it will gain the doubled. Then we have super fans who just give our headliner a completed item. If it's Bard, we will get a adaptive helm, and if it's MF, it will be a deathblade. Then we have big shots who gives MF more AD and even more when she casts. Our guardian units will get themselves a shield when they hit 50 health for the first time. And then we have Sentinel who gives our team some armor and magic resist. And the last one is true damage, which give our units some true damage. That doesn't really matter that much, but it does also give us a buff to their unique spell if they're holding an item. Echo will heal up every time he shields himself, and Kennen will stun just a little bit longer. The augments that we're looking for is something that gives us more duplicators. During 2, we really want to have MF, Bard and Nico to 3-star. We could also go for a specific augment like Cut Above. This will give us a Deathblade, and that could be useful if we have Bard as our chosen, since we do not get the free Deathblade from superfans. We could also go for a specific augment like That's Jazz, or going for something like bigger shots that buffs up MF. 2 other augments that is also doing really well is Return on Investment. This will basically just give us the chance to put in 8 units at level 7 when we're doing a lot of rerolling. And the last one is Pandora's, just to give us the best items possible. If we see ourselves getting an emblem for Jazz, we will always take that and put it on Echo. And you can do that by using a specialer and a cloak. If we don't know who's gonna be the headliner, we will build items for MF first. Her headliner buff is to get more AD. And here we want a Rageblade and a Last Whisper. And if she is the headliner, we will get ourselves the Deathblade from the superfans. If she's not the headliner, we can build the item ourselves. Are we not getting the perfect items? We could also go for something like a Guardbreaker, Red Buff and Giant Slayer. If Bard is our headliner, we will also highly prioritize Bard's items and even build him up first. And that is due to Bard's headliner buff is giving him a permanent buff on his ability. Every fight, the first time Bard is casting his 4 nodes, the 4th node will hit more units. And after that, it will just go as normal. But whenever Bard have casted 8 times, he will get 1 stack. And the next time a fight starts, he will hit 2 units. That means if Bard have been casting a lot during the game as a headliner, The 4th note on his first ability cast in a fight will hit a lot of units, and this will just give us a head start to the fight. And by that, we want to give Bard a lot of mana, and Bard's best items will be Adoptive Helm, Sojourn, Gauntlet, Angel, and Tooth. I usually go for 2 Helmet plus 1 Gauntlet, but almost any combinations of these items will work. Just remember, Bards wants a lot of mana. When it comes to the frontline, Neeko will be our main tank. Meanwhile, Echo will be the secondary. Neeko can almost use any tank items, but good options will be something like Warmonk, Stoneblade, and Protector's Vow. But you could also use something like Sunfire Cape and Redemption. Echo is almost the same: Warmonk, Stoneblade, Crown Guard, Claw, or Bramblevest. Slam whatever you can find and scout the lobby to see if there's more AP or AD damage. And just before we go into the build-up, an easy way to remember what units you need: just think that you need all the 3 Jazz units, you need the 3 Superfan units that is not Gnar, then you want to buff up Misfortune since that is your carry with 1 other big shot, and to activate 2 more traits you're gonna put in Echo, which is a true damage and also a Sentinel. That was the way that I used to remember what units I needed in the start before I really learned the comp. So the best openers that we're looking for is someone like Kennen Superfan with Lilia to get the trait active, and then we are putting in 2 other KDA units to get that trait active as well. If we have items for MF, we could put them on Kaiser. Another option is again having Headliner Kennen. This time we're having true damage instead, and then we kinda have to add in Taric to get 2 Guardians. And if possible, we will get ourselves 3 Discos, and again, if we're having some sort of items with attack speed, for example, as we can use on MF, we could put it on Nami for a lot of CC. Another super fan option is that we're going for Lilia, and then we're just gonna add in Kennen on the other side. And once again, we want to have 3 KDA units, and we can again put on items for MF on Kaiser, and we could also use tank items on Lilia for now. We just have to remember that we want to have Lilia as another unit played later in the game, so we have to have some extra Lilia units on the bench. And the same go for Kaiser, since we want to move the item over but keep playing Kaiser later. We could also play the headliner Corki 8-bit, and then we're just gonna add in 1 more unit so we get the big shot online. And then we once again are playing 3 superfans to give Corki an item. These openers will be the best one to get you through the early game without losing too much health. But do you have a weak board, you can try to go for 5 lose streak to build up gold instead. When you hit level 6 at stage 3-2, you have 2 options. You can sell your headliner and roll for a stronger one, or keep the one you have and wait for level 7. If you're feeling quite strong, you can keep the board that you have and go for a fast level 7 at stage 3-5, or you can wait all the way to stage 4. Are you on the other hand fairly weak, you should upgrade your board by selling your headliner and roll for a stronger one. In the best case, we are hitting a Bard or MF as a headliner with Jazz in the trait. Do we find any of these units without Jazz headliner, we can still play them. They are just not as strong as they could be. If we do not hit any of these headliners, we could pick up something like a Samira headline, Aphelios headline, or Kaiser. And they can be our carry and item holder until we get to level 7, and once again we will try to hit Bard or MF as our headliner. Whenever you get your headliner, you will simply just stabilize your board, and that means getting almost all of your units to 2-star, and then get back up to 50 gold. Are you contested? You might want to do a bit of roll downs a few times before you get to 50 gold. That is to make sure that you are the one getting MF and Bard units, and in later in the game, getting them to 3-star. One tip is, if they do not have their headliner yet, you could counter them by picking up a lot of the units. If there's not 50% of the units left in the pool, they cannot be found as headliners. There is 20 Bards in the shared pool, and are you holding 5? And someone else is having a 2-star Bard, that is 8. And if the last one is looking for Bards and already having a 2-star himself, that will be a total of 11, and Bard cannot be found in the pool anymore. The same goes with MF, but here it's just only with 17 in the pool. As soon as you're getting your units to 3-star, go level 8, and in the best case we will put in Lucian. Do you not see yourself getting the units to 3-star? you want to get up in levels earlier to make your board stronger now. If you're finding Lucian at level 8, that is just great, but sometimes we are not that lucky. And instead we will play something like Zac, since Zac is an overall strong unit, but you also have CC. The last thing I want to mention is a few positioning tips. So we do already know that MF is having an ability that her spell is bouncing off. And that means she basically can hit a unit behind her target. That doesn't really matter that much. The good thing about MF's spell is that if she's killing a unit, she will gain 40% attack speed. And that means what we are looking for is not to snipe a unit, but more about killing a unit fast. So try to position MF so she is killing a unit fast. We do not put Bard in a specific position so he can kill a unit. And since he will always just heal the lowest health allied, it doesn't really matter where to put him. And the safest place is in the corners. Normally it's a good idea to put Guardians in the side. But at this point Lilia will more or less just be a unit that gives Nico a bit more time. So this is how you're going to position your front line. If the enemies have a unit that they do want to have a cast off fast in the front line, put Kennen above that unit. So he can have a chance of stunning that unit and giving yourself a bit more time before that unit is casting. If this was a little bit too advanced for you and you don't know the basic yet, you could consider seeing my beginner guide on set 10. And if not, just thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next guide.